If you run a business or want to launch an AI agency, don't skip this because manually taking calls is either killing your time, your team's time, or one of your potential clients' time. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to automate it all step by step with an AI receptionist. Now, if you're a savvy business owner, you know what I just said about killing time is basically the same thing as burning money, especially if you have team members doing it. So again, make sure to watch through this video and try and build along because I give you all of the resources. And so let's get into it. And so like I mentioned, today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build a full AI receptionist that talks like a real person, answers calls, and books appointments for you, all with no code, no complex dev work, and only 3 different tools or softwares. Those 3 tools are Retell, which you can think of as sort of the brain of the operations, which is actually where we create the voice agent, do the prompting, all of that. Make.com is sort of like I mentioned here with this emoji is the gears behind it. That's what you use to sort of communicate with your calendar booking software and automate all the booking based on the conversation that Retell has with the lead. And then lastly, this is sort of an add-on and something you won't see in a lot of the other AI receptionist videos is an integration with Lovable, which allows you to embed it directly on your website. Now, Lovable, if you don't know what it is basically a no-code software development tool that allows you to build web apps or websites. And I actually found a really easy way to integrate the voice AI receptionist with Lovable. However, if you just want it connected to a phone number, that's super easy, and I'll show you exactly how to do that too in this video. So, this is one of the most practical AI builds you can offer to real businesses, or you can implement in your own business. And so, if you want this set up for your own site or even a client project, the link's in the description to book a call with me if you'd like to work with me. Or if you want to build it yourself and follow along, there's a link to my school community down below, and I'll show you right here what it looks like. So you sign up, it's completely free. Then you just have to fill out a couple questions. Then here in the Classrooms tab, you'll find under YouTube resources, you'll find this video. It should be pretty much at the very top once it's uploaded. And that way you'll have all the resources. So you can see in these, I have all the resources sort of pasted here. And so you can see like I give you all the prompts, I give you all the functions and everything like that. So you can completely follow along and replicate everything without having to pause and copy down everything I'm saying. And now the real question is why? And I like to address this first so that you sort of know throughout this build the purpose behind everything. So why build an AI receptionist? The truth is most businesses miss leads because they miss calls. A receptionist fixes that. That's why that's a whole industry. It's a whole job. The only thing is they're expensive. And it's not that you just have to pay them, but there's also healthcare and training. And they take off sick or maybe maternity leave. And like I mentioned, they're limited to just office hours and they can't scale linearly. If you want to handle more calls, you have to hire more people. However, with AI, it's available 24/7. It handles every call instantly, and it never forgets a question or a booking step. And it's trained right out of the box with all the information you possibly have about your company. And so this works insanely well for these specific niches. However, it can apply to almost any business that handles inbound calls and books meetings or anything like that. So for example, home services, which is a huge industry. Real estate, again, another huge industry. Agencies like myself, I mean, this is going to be, I'm going to be building this AI receptionist for my own company. And then you just sort of alter it for your own sort of use case and your own company or your clients. So I'm going to be showing you specifically how to do it for an agency and especially for solopreneurs, people who might not have a receptionist but handle inbound calls themselves or aren't even able to have a phone number for their business because it's just them working. This is perfect for them. And so, once again, to reiterate, to build it, I'm using Retell to manage and create the actual voice agent. Make.com is used to connect the logic, booking, and the calendars, as well as connecting it to Lovable. We'll get to that at the end. And I'm going to use Lovable to easily embed the agent on an actual site. Once again, it's all no code, and I actually give you everything. And it connects with webhooks and drag and drop automations, which makes it super easy if you want to edit different stuff around from how I built it. It's really easy to do that. Whereas if it was code, it would take a lot more technical expertise. And so now I'm going to leave this board and jump into Retell and show how it all starts. And so sort of step one is actually building the voice agent in Retell. In this part, I'll walk you through sort of picking a voice that sounds natural. We'll actually write the receptionist prompt, or hint, hint, ChatGPT is going to write the prompt for us. And we'll also be able to tune things like response delay, interruption handling, back channeling. And at the end, I'll do a test call so you can quickly hear out sounds before moving forward. All right, so here we are in Retell. And how we're going to start is we're going to click Create an Agent over here. And you'll have a couple options here. Both conversational flow agents and multi-prompt agents are for a bit more complicated use cases with a lot more nuance. Generally, AI receptionists are sort of, you want them to be fluid, be able to handle sort of a bunch of different questions or inquiries, and then be able to book calls. And generally in the space, that's seen as a pretty simple use case. So for that, we just need a single prompt agent, and we will start from blank. And so here we are, and you'll see there's a couple things here. And really, what you're looking at over here is the big prompt window. And so that's how you actually control what the AI says. You have all these sort of more technical things in the middle, and then you're able to test it over here. And then up here, you have the model, you have the actual voice that it uses, and then the language. Then you have some information up here, such as how much it costs, and the latency, which is how long it takes to respond, and then some IDs, which we'll get to later. First, I'm just going to name it Arose AI Receptionist. And then the next step is creating the prompt. Now, you could go in here and manually type out everything you want, but that's a lot of work. And if you want something easier, I actually created this own voice AI prompt creator in ChatGPT. And I'm going to say something like, help me create a prompt for an AI receptionist. Oop. My company, Arose AI. Here is our web page for more information. So what I'm actually going to do here is, I said I sort of want an AI receptionist for my company, Arose AI. I'm actually going to go to my website here and hit Control A, and it highlights everything, and then copy that into the prompt so that it actually has like my website fully scraped, just so it has a bit more context on what I do. I want this to be named Sarah. And so there we go. And we'll see ChatGPT whip up a prompt. And I made this specifically for Vappy, so you'll sort of see that there. But it works the exact same with Retell. Vappy is just another voice AI provider. This is a good starting point. I know some of this I'll adjust. Actually, one thing I do want to get rid of is get rid of all the M dashes. All these M dashes sort of mess up the voice of the AI, and so I don't like those. And so there we go. And again, the prompt should be sort of a living, breathing thing that you edit as you sort of hear more calls, see what goes well, see what goes wrong. And so this isn't sort of the end all be all, especially not sort of something you just copy and paste from ChatGPT. However, it's always a great starting point. And so now I'm actually going to change the model to 4.1 mini. Not only is it cheaper and faster, but it performs pretty well compared to 4.0. And these are sort of the newer um, AI models from OpenAI right now, as of this recording. And so the next thing I also want to change is the voice. Now, Simo's a solid voice, but I want to show you guys how to get custom voices. And I think there may be a link to this uh, in here. No. Well, you can see I've imported voices. My favorite voice provider is 11 Labs. So if I close out of this and go to 11 Labs, you can actually see it's up here, and you look up their voice library. There's actually thousands and thousands of community voices that you can import into Retell. A lot of people don't know this. So if you're looking for any specific voice or you're just not satisfied with the ones they provide, you can find all of them in here. So say you wanted Peter.
Jackson not only sounds great, he also communicates with feeling and intelligence.
Yeah, Peter sounds a bit intense, but if you wanted that, you would just come here, hit view, copy this ID, come over into Retell, add a custom voice, community voices. Oh, or you could come to community voices and I think just click this and it would take you to the same place. You can either search by name or you can just paste that. So there we go. Peter came up and saved there. So just letting this save right now. And now Peter's our voice. However, I think, let me listen to Tanya.
Hey, I'm your virtual assistant from Retell AI, here to help you handle all the calls.
Yeah, so I think Tanya's pretty good, so I'll use her. And there we go. Her name will actually be Sarah though, because that's what's in the prompt. And then now, just sort of looking, now that you have sort of a basic prompt ready, you have the model you want. If you're doing something a bit more complicated, you can use 4.1 or 4.0, but for this use case, 4.1 minis should do most everything you want. And then these functions, this is something we'll touch in a bit for sure. This is how you do your calendar booking and all of that. If you aren't looking to use sort of the make.com function I provide, they do have some sort of out of the box functions, including integrations with cal.com. However, I think the make.com function I built, a bit biased, but it's a bit more flexible than the ones I give here. And then if you want to add anything to a knowledge base, there's a whole other tab back there where you can upload things, and from here you just hit add and add whatever you uploaded. Speech settings, I have a whole video on these actually, if you want to check that out. However, these I recommend just keeping the same and then adjusting them as needed as you sort of see how the calls go. Call setting, voicemail detection doesn't really matter because you're not doing outbound calls. I like to end it after like only 2 minutes of silence because if someone's silent for 2 minutes, guessing they're not going to be talking for much longer. And then max call duration, I'm going to set at like 13 minutes. I don't really think someone should be talking to this receptionist for longer than that. And so I just don't want to be charged for someone just hanging on the line and talking to it for an hour. And so put that there. And then, yeah, that's it for that. Post-call analysis is another thing we can get into when we're connecting sort of everything that happens after the call and call reporting. This isn't anything you really have to worry about now. And webhook settings, we'll talk about webhooks again soon. But now that we've sort of built the prompt in Retell, it's time to actually listen to it and talk to it. Hello?
Hi, you've reached a Rose.
Ooh, found something I didn't like. I forgot to change the welcome message. It was that I had to initiate the conversation, but I'm going to have it that they begin with a dynamic beginning message. And I'm going to change it so it doesn't actually say it's a virtual assistant. I'm gonna say, "Hi, you've reached Rose AI. This is Sarah. How can I assist you today?" And let's see how this sounds.
Hi, you've reached Rose AI. This is Sarah. How can I assist you today?
Hey Sarah, could you tell me a bit about what you guys actually do?
Hi there. I'm Sarah with Rose AI. We specialize in creating custom voice agents that help businesses automate customer interactions like scheduling, lead qualification, and order processing, all while keeping a natural human touch. Would you like me to share more details or perhaps schedule a free consultation to explore how we can support your business?
So, that call sounded really choppy. So I'm actually gonna change this over to a different voice um, and see if that makes a difference. Again, these are all things that will sort of figure themselves out as it goes. I'm going to use SEMO. It also mentioned, it said, "Hi, you've reached Rose AI" multiple times. Here we go. You also want to make sure these examples are changed to reflect sort of any changes you make up here. So I'm going to do that real quick. And so I just made a couple of quick changes. The main one being sort of this first message. I made it a bit more conversational. And I also added this note because it kept using M dashes, which sort of, like I mentioned, messes up how it responds. So let's just test it now. By no means is this sort of production ready. At my agency, we actually test these things for weeks and weeks, and see live calls come in and iterate based on that. So never expect sort of these first demos to be completely ready.
Hey, you've reached Arose AI. This is Sarah. How can I help you?
Hey, I was just wondering if I could learn a bit more about what you guys do.
Absolutely. At Arose AI, we create custom voice agents that help businesses automate customer interactions like scheduling, lead qualification, and order processing, all while keeping a natural human touch. We've automated over 90,000 calls to help companies boost their service and efficiency. Would you like me to tell you about a specific service or maybe schedule a free consultation to explore how we can help your business?
And so that was a bit better. Again, if you hear any of those sort of like robotic cracks in the voice, that's just due to me sort of recording and everything being all on my laptop right now. And so if you were to actually call it or implement it on your website, it wouldn't have those errors or lag like that. Um, but now that we've sort of created the AI agent that we want and we're ready to sort of put it out into the world and test, um, it's time to switch over to make.com. And this is where we'll automate everything on the back end. And so you'll see how to put the webhook in Retell, and you'll be able to add the appointment to Google Calendar or wherever you really want. Um, and based on that, I will not be showing you how to do this. That's a bit more advanced. But once again, there is no development required. It's all just visual logic, templates, and I'll literally give you the exact formula that you can copy and paste to build it. Um, and really, these functions is just what turns the AI from just a voice into something that like actually takes action and books appointments for you, which is really the magical part of it. And so here we are in Make.com. If you're not familiar with Make, once again, it's sort of an automation platform. And what that means is it lets different sort of applications or softwares communicate with each other. So you can see in here we have a bunch of sort of OpenAI, ChatGPT, Google Calendar. This webhook is sort of where it interacts with Retell. And you'll see these routers, which I'll get to in a second. So basically, how this function works is in this webhook, say someone says to your AI receptionist, "Hey, I want to book a call. My name's Tommy. I want to book it for 3 p.m. on Monday." Then it sort of runs through these ChatGPT steps. Basically, what most of them do is they either make the data like how it wants it for Google Calendar because you need your data in a specific way, or it outputs whether that time slot is available or not, or at the end here outputs whether there's any alternative slots for that day or nothing's available. But basically, from a very high level, all that information passes through. Like I mentioned, Tommy, 3 p.m. Monday, wants to book a call. It checks your Google Calendar, and again, you can implement this with like a cal.com API or anything like that. I just use Google Calendar because it's really simple to sort of understand, and a lot of people use it. And it gets back all the information for that day, and then it runs through here. It finds if that time, if 3 p.m. on Monday is available or not. If it is available, it goes in and it creates that event and books it. And you'll see in here, there's some certain places you have to actually put in your ID and your company name and some custom stuff. And then these webhook responses are basically what Retell hears back. So Retell takes that information, sends it out, and what gets back is what's in these webhook responses. So if it sends out that information, here's booked, it'll be like, great, Tommy, like you're booked for 3 p.m. on Monday. Let me know if I can help you with anything else. Then if that time isn't available, then it would run through here and it would find if on that day there are any alternate slots or if nothing's available. If there's alternate slots, it'll sort of offer up some of them. If there's none available, then it'll just say, sorry, there's no appointment times this day. And so I'm going to integrate this now with my Google Calendar. And so what I need is my calendar ID. Now, I want to see if I remember exactly how to get this. I don't remember it being super easy, but I'll pause it and get back to you when I find it. Okay, so I found it. All you have to do is go in here to settings, and then go to your specific calendar, and then down here you will find your calendar ID. So I'm just going to take this, go back to make.com, paste this in here. So in this case, it's just my email, and then paste this in here, and then I'm going to put my company name, and so this is just the title of the event, and so boom, and I believe that is the only customization you have to do. Hey guys, so I was actually editing the video and I realized there is a bunch more customization that I actually do recommend adding to this final little module here, and that is to add, well, first off, the description or location you can always use. You want to enable, so this was off originally, but you want to enable the send notifications about the event creation. So this will send an email to sort of the people that are invited. And once again, this will obviously send an email to you whenever you're invited to it, which is important. But also, if you're able to grab the email of the guest on the with the AI receptionist, which isn't something I implemented in this tutorial, but it's something you could very easily prompt it to do, and then you just have to add it to sort of that JSON thing within Retell for the function, the payload, and then all of this is stuff you can also edit. Make sure to turn on the Google Meet video conferencing if you want to have like a Zoom face-to-face like this, and then say you have a partner or a co-founder that you want on the calls as well, then you could add them here in the attendees. You can also add reminders, email reminders after however many minutes, and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I just wanted to pop in and mention that there's a whole lot of functionality here under this Show Advanced Settings little toggle here that I would definitely recommend implementing into this Google Calendar event and the AI Receptionist as a whole. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. And now this sort of appointment booking should be all set up. The one thing I will note is it's currently set up for Eastern Standard Time, and that actually reminds me that you have to go and Retell AI and say the current time is, or current underscore time, please convert that to EST. It is currently PST. And so, sorry, I just sort of went and did something there. And so basically, the AI doesn't naturally know what time it is. So Retell is really nice and gave us this variable you can put in there. And it's for every account. You don't have to do anything. You just have to paste it in here like this, current underscore time. And then that's naturally in Pacific Standard Time. And so I'm in Eastern Standard Time, so I had to convert it to that so that when it actually books in, when it actually books in, then it does it in my time zone. What I was talking about here is that currently some of these prompts, let me see if this loads, these prompts are organized for it to be in EST rather than PST, but if you mess around with it and you see it's booking it like an hour or two away, then you know it's making that same mistake. That see, here you go, for EST, and so that was because I'm in EST, and so I made the function for that. But you can go in and change that. And so yeah, this function should be basically up and running now. So what we have to do next is take this, go back into Retell, and create the function in Retell so it knows how to actually send the data here and book those calls. So what you want to do here is come to this webhook, and you just want to copy that webhook. And you'll have to create a new webhook when you copy this, but that's super easy. And come to your functions, you add a custom function, and you want to paste this URL in here, and then you want to name it calendar booking, and then the description is run this function when someone wants to book a call. And so basically the name is just for you to sort of organize it. The description is actually for the AI to know when to run the function. But we're going to do some neat prompting stuff so that it runs the function every time exactly when we want it to. And so here you'll see next these parameters, and this is actually the data you sort of send through the webhook. So this would be someone's name, someone's email, the date and time, obviously, that they want to book a call. And so coming back over here into our function, when we create an event, what do we need? Right now, all we need is the name and the date and time. However, if you wanted to sort of add more context, add a description to it, you could obviously do that. But for the sake of this, you would do that by just going to these advanced settings and putting more stuff in the description. But for the sake of sort of this demo, we're just going to get the name and the time that they want to book in. And so what you have to do is put this in a JSON format, that's what this looks like, which might be a bit intimidating to you guys. So I actually created this ChatGPT module that creates the JSON schema for Retell AI functions. How convenient. And so all you have to tell this is create me a JSON schema that for a calendar booking function that grabs someone's name and as well as their date and time they want to book a call. And so here you go, and it'll create all this for us. And so boom, you can just copy this and throw it in here, and that's all you need to do. And so save that, and now you have this calendar booking function. Now, although that's sort of it for the calendar booking on make.com side, what you want to do here in sort of these examples, you want to sort of explain it to it how you actually want it to, or when specifically you want it to book these calls in. So for here, I would say like run function calendar booking. And now it should sort of know to run it. Like you go through this conversation, hey, book a demo, first and last name, what time, and then it should run it then. And so you'll sort of find there's a lot of nuances with calendar booking. Some things you might want to do if you find the AI really has a problem with it is have people say their email or their names letter by letter so that it actually captures it correctly. But right now we can actually test this through chat and make sure this function works. So while I come over here, we're making sure this function is on right now. And coming over to Retell and saying, hey, say I want to book a demo. And so this chat interface operates exactly the same as if you were to talk to it. It's just easier to test on this because it's chat. And so first and last name, so my name, Tommy Christ. So that's weird. It said that, so I'll have to prompt it not to say that. And so I'll actually change that right now. Do not mention this in conversation. But now you know exactly when I'm recording this. I'm up pretty late, close to 11. And so I want to book it for 5 p.m. tomorrow. And it will actually run functions in this, which is really what it's doing right now. And we can see it ran through there. And it ran into an error. So let's see, let's stop this function. And let's see what this error was. Come over here. Didn't have the start time. So let me fix this real quick, and once I find the solution, this is all part of it, but once I find the solution, I'll be right back. Sorry, just had to troubleshoot that real quick. The error was that sort of the variables already in the calendar booking and sort of how it expected the Retell to send the information of the name and like the appointment date and time was different than I add in here. So I just had to change these to user underscore name and appointment underscore date underscore time. And so yeah, but when you copy all these, all of that will be fixed. It's not something you have to worry about. So now we can check this out. And it's weird that she's sort of asking for the name, but whatever. I want to book a demo. That is something that obviously you could fix with some prompting or even just making this initial message the exact same every time. And so name, Tommy Christ. And then Thursday at 1 p.m. Let's see if that, yes, EST. So it's sort of acting odd now. So this is all stuff I would prompt out. And so perfect. If you look here, I got the time. And then the result was that I was booked. And so if you come over to the function, you can see it was successful. And if you come over to my calendar, you can see Rose AI X Tommy Chris Thursday at 2 p.m. And the time is booked. And if you had like a specific calendar link or anything like that, you could just come in here. Or if you get their phone number, you can make the meeting place their phone number. And you can control all of that within here. So if you just hit yes on this, then it would add sort of that Google Meet conferencing. And so there we go. And so now that the calendar booking function all works, and obviously you can edit the prompt a bunch to sort of make it speak and act exactly how you want. It's time to move on to Lovable and embedding the chat actually onto your website. And so not only will it just be connected to a phone number, but if someone visits your website, they can click a button and talk to it and book a call through there. So I'll head over to Lovable to wrap it up. We'll grab, this actually is not how it works. I lied there. I found out how to do it like 30 minutes before this video. So I'll show it exactly how to do it. And it's not really like embed code. It's a whole sort of this thing. But don't get too scared. I have a ChatGPT prompt that actually does it for you, which seems to be a theme. And we'll paste it right into Lovable, and then boom, your AI receptionist will be live, ready to take any and all real conversations from your visitors. No waiting, no you having to handle the calls, no dev work. It just works because I already built it out all for you. And so let's check this out. And so here we are in make.com, and the reason we're in make.com is that for us to put sort of like a button on our website, we need it to actually trigger a web call, which is an API request to Retell. I'll show you exactly how to do that here. So here's the documentation, and sort of how you do that in Retell would be, let me just name this web call, and I will be building this one live along with you. Making sure my audio still works. But you just need a webhook, custom webhook, and I'll add a new one. I'll name it Rose AI Web Call Receptionist. Save that. Save that. Make sure this runs immediately. And then next, you want this sort of webhook to trigger a request. Make a request. And so now when you're looking at this HTTP request for this URL, you just come over here. And again, this will all be down below for you, and you can just copy it. This will be a post request, pretty sure. Yeah. And then as a header, you need authorization, and this will be bearer, and then your API token. And basically this is sort of just a protocol to making sure Retell and make.com can sort of converse, so to say. It's the language they speak. And the body type will be raw, and then application JSON. Now, what I'm actually going to do is come back into ChatGPT and open just a temporary window and ask if it can make this agent ID, because this is the only part that you actually need for this API. I'm going to ask it, make this an API request in JSON for me. And so boom, just formatted that real quick for me, just because that was real easy. And one thing, so you'll need two things here. You'll need your agent ID and your API key. And so what I'm going to do here to make it real easy for you guys is I'm just going to make it so you can set multiple variables. And so here I'm going to have API key, and then agent ID. I'll show you guys exactly where to get these from. And then I'm going to have these, so the API key goes there, and the agent ID goes here. And boom, and so if you ever need to switch anything out, you can just put them in here, and they'll automatically come in here, and everything will work perfectly fine. And so the last part of this we need is the webhook response, which I'll actually configure after we run this because it needs to know sort of like the data type and everything. So if we come into Retell and up here on your AI, you can find the agent ID. You can just press this to copy it and come back in here and paste that there. And then for your API key, what you need to do is come over here to API keys, grab this, copy this, and then paste it in here. I'm actually going to pause it while I paste this just because API keys are something you definitely want to keep secret and sort of a cybersecurity thing. I don't want to share that on the internet. So now that we have both of those pasted in there, what I'm going to do now is just test out this function so that it can actually recognize all the data. And one thing I'm also going to choose is to parse this response. Basically, that just means the data flowing through it, instead of coming in one big chunk, will be sort of separated so that we can send it out a lot easier. And so now, if I just run once, we'll see it was successful, even though it's not like we're talking to her or anything. And in this data, you see all of this. Now, there are two things we need from this, and let me connect that once again. And it will be the, I'll have to blur out my API key, the access token, as well as the call ID. And we will also want to format those in JSON. So I'm going to say, what I'm going to do here actually is going to say access token, and then do that. And then again, this will all be sort of copy and paste if you join the school community. And then after this, call ID, and boom. And then I'm going to copy this, put it in ChatGPT, and say, I'll put this in a JSON format. And now that way, it's a lot easier for the application to actually recognize this data just because it's sort of structured in its language, like I mentioned. And so now that we have all of this set, what we want to do is take this webhook, and now it's finally time, because this function is fully working for the web call, and actually take it into Lovable. So what we want to do is say, so like I mentioned, Lovable's a web app builder, website builder, where you sort of prompt over here and it creates your website over here. So this is live. If you go to arose.ai, you can see my website, and then obviously after this video, you'll see all the changes I make here. So what I'm going to say is I want a button to demo a voice agent on my website, and I want it to trigger this webhook. Is all we'll do right now. Reference the image for what I want it to look like. And so even though we're using Retell, I think Vappy has a fantastic landing page, and Lovable really likes screenshots. So so I actually had to stop recording to actually screenshot so I could leave tabs. But basically this is just the prompt you want to use. Say, hey, I like this design. If you had a different design you liked, you could obviously upload an image of that or describe it. I want to trigger this webhook. And we want to copy this webhook and go into Lovable and give it these instructions. And we will see it sort of create this over here. So usually takes a bit. And so we can see if we scroll down, I don't really like it's all the way down here. I'll change that after this video. But this is just to sort of show off the functionality. If you click this, it may not converse right away. Yeah, that's what I expected. But we can end that call, and then you can see over here that it actually ran the function successfully. And so that's what we want to see, because this next step is using this Lovable web call prompt I created, which basically tells it exactly how to set up everything that it can communicate well enough with Retell. And so if you just paste this in here and then let it go to work, it should, fingers crossed at the end of this, work. A couple times it gave me an error, but I was able to just tell Lovable to fix the error and ended up fixing it pretty quickly. And so now it should work. Again, fingers crossed.
Hi, this is Sarah from Iron Core Fitness. How can I help you today?
It looks like it's connected to the wrong webhook. That was the one I tested with. And so it was actually connected to the previous webhook I had used. And so let me just fix that real quick. And now it should be all fixed. Let me try it. When you guys do it on your end, you wouldn't have been testing it before and shouldn't run into these errors.
Hey, you've reached Rose AI. This is Sarah. How can I help you today? May I have your name, please?
Yeah, Sarah, this is Tommy. I was just wondering if I could book a demo call.
Hi, Tommy. Great. Do you want to book a demo? What day and time work best for you?
I think what works best? I think Friday at 1 p.m. works best for me.
Thanks, Tommy. Just to confirm, you'd like to book your demo call for Friday at 1 p.m. Could you please let me know if you mean Friday, May 9th, 2025? Also, do you prefer the time in EST or PST?
EST.
Thanks for confirming, Tommy. I'll go ahead and book your demo call for Friday, May 9th, 2025 at 1 p.m. EST. Your demo call is all set for Friday, May 9th, 2025 at 1 p.m. EST. You'll receive a confirmation email shortly.
Thank you, Sarah.
Is there anything else I can assist you?
You're very thorough. Thank you. Oops, I accidentally started another one. As you can see, it still needs some help with the prompting. But it did book in that call at Friday at 2 p.m. Prompting as an issue is not something I'm going to go in depth in this video, just because it's a bit simpler and other people have covered it very extensively. But just off the top of my head, some things I would fix there are, again, reassuring it that it is sort of a normal human and people don't talk that way. But also just probably providing more examples of what to say after the call, or after it's booked, because there's really only this example, and that's not really enough. And then I probably give a whole sort of process part of the prompt saying, here's what you do in each case, and if it comes back, you offer, like if there's no times, this is what you say. If there are times, this is what you say. If it books, this is what you should say. But other than that, you should now have a fully working AI receptionist that's able to talk to your customers. It books appointments, as you can see in the Google Calendar, lives on your site, as you can see on Lovable. It runs 24/7. How you connect a phone number to this is super simple. You just come over to phone numbers, buy a new one here. You buy it, and then you just connect it, make the inbound call agent like the Rose AI receptionist. And now, if any of you guys want to call this number, it's connected to my receptionist. And you can talk to it, or you can go to my website, arose.ai, and speak to it there. But yeah, you can always tweak this setup to handle sales calls, customer support, even lead qualification. I just really make these videos so you can sort of see some of the possibilities and start building stuff for yourself. If you want the exact configuration I use, or even just want help running this fast, everything's linked in the description. If you want to work with me, you can book a call there. And then obviously in the community, under the YouTube resources, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you can find all this information. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day and happy building.